podcast around. 0 S to give. Jamal.
I'm Shawna.
Husband and wife team doing this thing for almost 20 years.
I know we don't look like it though.
Yeah.
Don't look like what we've been through.
Yeah, not enough. If that was the case, I look like I was shriveled up man. Shoot.
Hey. As to give, where can you find us?
Where can you find us? On Twitter, you can find us at 2_Fs, EFFS. We also have a Facebook podcast page.
Yes, 0 Fs to give. Remember the number 2, FEFFS.
To give.
And on Instagram, at 0 Fs to give.
On the gram. And then we have a YouTube page.
Yay, YouTube.
Yeah, and so
hi, YouTube.
yeah, you'll see. So if you yeah, that's that clown stuff. Yeah. So look for 0 S to give on YouTube as well. We're just expanding our social. We're expanding our social media, and hopefully, by this time next week, we'll be on Google Play and on iTunes.
Hey.
So we're trying to really expand this whole thing. All right.
We love your feedback. So hit us up on any of those outlets.
Yeah,
let us
please.
know what your thoughts are.
Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think about, especially our last episode. I felt like there was some heavy stuff in there. But
sharing is caring.
It is.
But
So
don't be mean, because Jamal will delete
I will
you.
delete your ass so quick. Okay, so let's just be straight. So I work outside, and I get to hit all the elements. And when we're outside, it's like a community because you run into a lot of people who do different things outside, right? And it's like their job. It's what they do. And so my job is I do like telephone-based stuff, internet, TV, blah, blah, blah. And I also run into a bunch of people who do similar things, but they're like contractors, right? Mm-hmm. So, they don't necessarily work for the company. They are just coming in to do the work for the company, right? So I'm out and I'm doing the work on the side of somebody's house. And the dude was putting up satellite TV. And so I was like, yo, like, what's going on? I just try to be friendly, let them know, hey, you got a brother out here, doing some work with you, right? So talking to the dude a little bit, and I'm just telling him what I'm doing and how I'm setting it up. And I'm going to use some of the stuff that he's put out there to do the work. And he walked past me. Okay. So, babe, was it about 2-3 months ago when I was like, yo, I don't think my deodorant is working. like it's not working. It doesn't work. I need you to give me a different deodorant. And I get that, your body changes and stuff like that. And so sometimes you need to switch up or whatever, right? But this young man, it was some funk. When he walked past me, it was like my nose hair singed a little bit. It was like, you know what it was? Here it is. It was what I believe funk from the Serengeti may smell like.
That's disgusting.
It was some Serengeti funk. Like it was.
Talk about that man like that.
No, but I'm telling you, he don't know. He don't know who. You don't know. You walk past 1 million people every day, but it was. It was that funk that you don't expect teenage young girls to have.
Oh, teenage young girls are cute.
What does that have to do with the funk that they emit? It was.
I didn't think when I was a teenage young girl.
What?
Did not.
What? Beth?
Yes.
What?
Did not.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I just, it was so, I could not believe that throughout the day of the work that we do, and I sweat a lot, okay? But it made me want to go, I literally went and checked
And you want to smell yourself?
like, I immediately came home and took a shower, like, it was like, yo, like, there's no way one person can emit the, like, you know what? I would have taken it if like the funk, my funk and his funk did like the Wonder Twin Powers and came together, and that's where the Serengeti funk came from.
I ran into him. I ran into him at Publix.
Did
Because you did tell me about the deodorant switching thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, you work outside, like, sure, I'll switch it up for you. But I didn't think that somebody that just walked past you was that funky. And I was in the Publix, and I was shopping, and the smell just came out of nowhere. And it like knocked me on my back, and I turned around and I saw a dude. He had that bright fluorescent vest on, so you know he works outside. And he had on the work boots, and I was like, oh my god,
dude,
it's so bad. Please do us all a favor and go home before you go grocery shopping. I know the urge.
You can't do it though.
I know the urge to go to the store real quick.
So you because when you get home, you're home.
No, it was so bad. It was so offensive.
It's that Serengeti funk,
It was
baby.
offensive.
Good God, like it. Woo! And here's the thing. I know he had other jobs to do. So he was bringing that Serengeti funk into other people's house, yo.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Like, I feel like we exist, right, in life in general.
Okay.
And there's a platform on a podcast to build people up, not tear people down, right? Like, that is my life's belief. We exist to build people up, not tear people down.
Fair.
So now that you've shared the story about the Serengeti funk,
Mm-hmm.
what is the purpose in your story? Do you want to inspire people to change their deodorant? Do you want to inspire people to keep spray deodorant in the car? Because that's what I do with the kids.
Okay.
Pure Romance has some products you can just keep in your car and freshen up.
Uh-huh.
What is the purpose of your story? Because you can't just be here to talk about this man and his funk.
No, I can clown my phone.
No, well, you're watching your language.
I'm trying.
But we are here to serve a purpose greater than ourselves. So what is what's your build up moment from this story in this man's funk? Are you just telling me that this man was funky?
But
Or do you have a lesson to be shared?
the only thing that I was sharing was the fact that if I had to deal with that funk, I needed to tell somebody because it was that funky.
Ooh, I got a lesson. Because I want to share a story with you.
Sure.
I had a friend I was having coffee with. You know how my coffee, okay, I have the best coffee dates ever, right? And so I was having coffee with a friend, and she ran across that dude.
What funk dude? Okay.
And nobody wanted to be around him because
Yeah,
it was
he's funky.
that bad.
'Cause he's
People
funky.
were giggling and talking about him because they were at a, I don't want to say it was at a church, but they were at a gathering for like a concert or some type of situation.
Is that a
right?
church function? Is that a church function?
Yeah, and the people around were kind of giggling and pointing
'Cause they knew he
and
was funky.
whispering
They
because
knew
it was
he was
bad, and they were keeping a safe
Distance, right.
But the person was just all by themselves, and you're not supposed to leave people alone at church.
I felt like he was leaving himself
You're not
alone.
supposed to do that.
If you that funky,
And so,
you're leaving yourself alone.
The day goes on, and the person, it was actually a man, not a woman, but it was a woman, not a man. And so she goes on to, as they're talking and doing what they do, to say that she doesn't really have any friends. More giggles. And so the person I was having coffee with went up and gave her a hug. And the smell, she said, was so bad. Like, she said she really did want to fall down. And the lady cried. And the lady said, nobody hugs me. And then the lady acknowledged her funk.
Wait a minute.
No, I'm serious.
Okay, so
She had a medical condition, Jamal.
yeah, it's called funk. Wash your ass.
And she knew that she smelled, and she broke down crying when my coffee mate gave her a hug because nobody ever came close to her because she smelled bad. She knew it.
Why didn't she just wash her ass, babe?
She had a medical condition.
Babe.
I don't know what her condition was.
That's you want to know why? Because it's called soap and water.
Babe, I mean, think about it. Like, if you were that funky that nobody even wants to touch you, like, think about. And my coffee mate did say that she literally wanted to throw up in her mouth. And she felt like she had to go home and take a shower because it was really, really bad. But she gave love, and I feel like, again, I'm asking you, how are you building people up? Like, would you have hugged the funky man?
Absolutely
Would
not.
you have fist bumped?
I'd fist bump. Yeah, I'd fist bump.
You would have felt okay about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd fist bump you because that gives us distance.
There's a power in touch, man. There's
you're
a
right.
power in
so
touch.
Fist bump. Let's see. I figured that my arm is about 3 feet. His
So I just
arm
wanna
was about 30
encourage
feet,
everybody
so that'd have been a
listening.
6-foot difference.
I want people who are listening
That'd have been good for
to
us.
show love
To funk?
to people who stink.
I mean, like, are we talking about like George Clinton P-Funk?
I just want.
Are we talking about the Bootsy Collins give up the funk, rather be with you funk?
Who stink to be shown some love.
Rick James, Street
Why
Songs
are
funk?
we talking about showing love to stinky people? Okay,
How about they just wash their ass and then we ain't gotta worry about
How
it?
about having an honest conversation with people who stink?
Okay, now that's fair. That one, we can do
How do you
all
do that
day.
in love? Like, because you have those people. We have a friend whose breath is like, whoa. Whoa.
That was a bad Digitown. Like, whoa.
And it's like, what do you do? Like, how do you stay in love? Like, we've had nights where we've been drinking and stuff, and I'm like, dude, your breath stinks. But how do you do that in love when you're not tipsy?
Same way. Same way. This, you know what you're saying right now rolls into something that a conversation that me, you, my brother, and your best friend, our best friend, Sarani, just had. We just had this conversation at the taco place in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if you're not watching us on YouTube right now, I'm putting up the air quotes.
The good taco place or the bad taco place? Oh, the good taco place.
The good taco place.
Okay.
Well, which one?
Sarani didn't go to the bad taco place.
What's the bad taco place?
I feel like I need to give a disclaimer because we are from San Diego and we go to the hood. There's no shame in that. We go to the hood for our Mexican food. The hoodier the better.
The hoodier the better.
But Jamal's favorite taco place in Charlotte is at a gas station.
It is dope. It makes me feel right at home. It makes me feel right at home.
So not the gas station taco place, but the upscale.
This is the upscale one, right?
South Charlotte taco place.
Right. Which it doesn't have the same. It doesn't give off the same. I don't know what. Yeah, like the taco shop that I go to. Like I feel like when you go in, like you walk in with the non-care attitude that you don't care what the meat is. You just as long as it.
We don't know what the meat is.
Like we don't know what the meat is. We just care that it just says carne asada, so we'll just eat it. Like that's the type of feel that I want.
And we get to have that now because it's a San Diego weekend.
We're here.
This weekend is San Diego weekend for Reignite.
You're right. So when we get off the air, we're going to the taco shop?
Absolutely. In the hood.
In the hood. See you in a little bit.
Anyway, how are you telling the funky people to be nice way?
I don't know, babe. Here's the thing. I don't know how to. You know what I like? So for all the outstanding qualities that I have, I lack tact.
You do.
I like it. It is the thing that if I get shot, people, it's because I lack tact. You say put it out, but I'm not putting it out. I'm just saying, like,
So, do you think it's better to not tell somebody if they stink?
I think you have to tell them.
So then, how do you do it in love?
I don't think there's any way that you can tell somebody that they stink and they'll receive their love. I think that every intention you have could be, listen, I'm trying to not have this person embarrass themselves in front of everybody else. So as a friend, I could just tell them, pull them to the side and be like, yo, rough man, whatever, right?
That's a good safe go-to. You want some gum?
Yeah, no, because there are people who will say no to the gum. So what you have to do is just say, breath man. You don't give them the option. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Gum. That is tact, right? Like gum. And they'll be like,
other body function.
And
what do you do then?
Now, when we're talking about other than breath,
yeah. What do you do?
I don't have no tact, babe. I don't know.
Do you say something? You don't say anything.
You have to say something though when people stink, because everybody else knows that they stink. You like okay?
They know that they stink.
No. Listen. That day when I walked past dude with the Serengeti funk, right? I knew I was stinking too. I just wasn't stinking like he was stinking.
I don't like the way you said that.
I'm just saying. I knew because
It was a hot day.
it was a hot day. I knew there was no way. Like, but even to put it like this, he stunk so bad. Even if I didn't stink, I thought I stunk. Got you. Okay. So this is the thing. Is I don't know. You have to just be able to tell people, man. You have to. Like you would tell your child,
Absolutely.
because you don't want your child to embarrass themselves, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. If that's your friend,
And I have told all the children.
okay. So if that is your friend or someone who you would consider to be a friend, you have to tell them.
Do you tell your friends when they have boogers in their nose?
Absolutely, every time. Every time. I'd be like, hey, bro, hey. And you know how you wipe your upper lip? Be like, hey, get that right there, get that. Yeah, I don't want, listen. I can't be walking around with you looking all great. And then you all here looking like, yeah, come on, man. Like, get that out. And it's Kurt, to me, listen. Podcast world, right now, I'm telling you this. If you are ever around me and something ain't right, breath stinking, I'm a little funky, got a booger in my nose, y'all gotta tell me. Just tell me.
We're gonna tell you.
Tell me. Listen, here's the deal. I may not want to have that situation happening to me at that particular point, but I'll be better for it.
And you know what? I think on the other side of it, I would want a friend to tell me if I stink.
Yeah.
I would want somebody to be like, Shawna, it's not good. And I'd be like, let's go fix it.
Yeah.
I would much prefer that.
And
for everybody to
I'm about
know
to say,
that I stink
and then women do that. Women do that type of stuff all the time too, though. Women will go and tell their girls like real on the slide.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like some stuff, and the dudes will be around and will never even notice it. But you had your girl's back. You was taking care of your girl. You know what I'm saying? So like when you stink, somebody should tell you because it doesn't make sense. You walk into a room, the room was smelling like apricots, and then when you leave, it smelled like a back alley somewhere, some sewer or something. You have to tell people, man. So and listen, everybody, do better. Let's tell everybody that they stink. All right.
You know yourself. You smell good.
Well, today, this morning, yes, I smell great.
Yeah,
I smell
really
great.
good.
I smell great. I smell great. All right. So now that I'm done being silly.
Sorry.
I got a couple things. Huh?
Does it ever end?
I do have one more thing that I want to bring up before like my final thing. So back in the 90s, in the early 90s, I was what?
I just wanted to go into Mary J. Blige's Real Love.
So in the early 90s, I was a huge fan of MC Hammer.
Oh my God, he was MC Hammer's hugest.
Huge fan of MC Hammer,
The
right?
biggest.
I have to tell you exactly where I was when MC Hammer threw a towel my way during one of his concerts, and I caught it I skied past people.
Side note and say that it wasn't cute fandom either. It was like Beehive fandom. Like, it was kind of embarrassing.
Why was it embarrassing?
Jamal had hammer pants.
Yeah, baby.
In different colors. And wore them with pride.
What's wrong with that?
Nobody else in our crew was wearing hammer pants.
Why?
Because they're hammer pants.
Dope.
Okay, so Jamal was like Beehive level for
MC Hammer. Damn right I was. And let me just say this to you. No shame here, but
you still don't have any shame about it?
Not a bit. No.
Still a little embarrassed.
Really? Okay. MC Hammer, performer-wise, top 5 performer of my lifetime.
Top 5?
Top 5 performer of my life. Okay, I'm gonna ask you.
No, don't ask me.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm not gonna do no list for you. All I'm gonna say is, can you quickly, in your mind, think about anybody whose stage presence was better than Hammer's? 4 people. Can you give me 5 people that was better? 5 people? Nope, you can't. Because you can say Mike, Prince, right?
Beyonce.
Okay, Beyonce. Go ahead.
I don't like to play this.
Because you don't know nobody else. That's why. That is why. You don't know nobody. Okay, Janet. Who else?
I just don't go to a lot of concerts.
No. That ain't it, baby. It's just there's only because Hammer. Who?
Hammer don't hurt him.
Who?
There's somebody.
Who? You gave me 4. That's it. You want to know why? Because Hammer was that dude. Hammer was that dude. And here's the deal. I need people to admit to themselves that Hammer was that dude.
We said Beyonce, Michael Jackson, Prince, Janet Jackson. There is somebody else.
Who? You can't think about him. Why? Because Hammer don't hurt him. That's why. Because you can't touch this. That's why. That's why. You know why. Let's keep it real, Shawna.
I'm sure.
No, Shawna.
I just can't think real fast.
No, baby. There's no thinking. There is. You didn't have to think about him. You didn't have to think about Janet. You didn't have to think about Prince. You didn't have to think about Michael Jackson. You didn't have to think about it. Want to know why? Because they just were the. You didn't have to think about Beyonce. Okay.
There's somebody.
Who, babe? Who had the crowd more hyped than Hammer? Who messed around and was dancing all over the stage like Hammer? Nobody. He was that dude. Listen, I want everybody to understand. Let us not confuse his rapping with stage performance. Okay? Because I understand. I hear and I will admit, Hammer wasn't the strongest rapper at all. Okay?
No, my mama loved MC Hammer.
But you know who Hammer was? He was the funky headhunter. That's who he was.
I didn't feel like we need to dress like Hammer though.
Why? Wait, but hold on.
Are you doing too legit quick
in my head, I am doing too legit to quit. But all that buzzing that y'all do, all that Beyonce fandom, all the Michael Jackson fandom that people do, dressing like Mike, Prince, and all the other type of stuff. The Janet Jackson when she was on that the Rhythm Nation and everybody was in all black and stuff like that. So hold on. So y'all can do all of that. But then your boy has his guy from Oakland, from Oaktown, 357.
Who else? I was just thinking about B.
Oh, Beyonce. Woo! Don't want to lose your love, baby. Listen, I'm just saying. Like, let's, if we're going to have an honest conversation, who was better than Hammer? You only got a handful. There's only a handful. They're 8 performance, like live performance. He was that guy.
I can't think.
Just a minute.
I need somebody on Facebook.
Just own up to it.
Instagram to tell me who.
So I bring this whole thing up to say people need to stop being phony when it comes to Hammer. You can stop. You could go and sit up there, rack your brain, and you can talk about better rappers. You can talk about better singers and stuff like that. But as far as stage performance, that he was that dude. He was that dude. All right, and it's and I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of people not giving Hammer his props.
I'm gonna have an answer for you by the end of this show.
Too legit to quit.
I'm gonna have an answer for you by the end of this show.
Well, like I said, I'm sick and tired of people not giving Hammer his props. That's all I'm saying.
Interesting.
Because you didn't think about it like that, did you?
I don't think about it at all, honestly.
You should. And when you get home?
And when I think about the 90s, Hammer's not the first thing that comes to my mind. I don't even want to bring up their name.
Who?
I don't say it anymore.
Who?
You say it.
Who?
You say it.
Who?
Forever My Lady People.
Oh. We're going to have a conversation about jealousy one day. We're going to have a long conversation about jealousy one day. Because I will say this about jealousy. They were the R&B standard of the 90s.
Yes, and they were a high standard.
Okay.
But it went so bad.
Oh my God.
So
when
sad.
it crashed, we should have known too. We should have known.
All
the signs were there.
Do you know how many kids that are our children's age named Devontae?
Listen.
Do you know how many Devontaes there are?
I get it. It's because of the 90s. I get it. Let me just say this though. Like, tell me if you have side by side, this is not the same person. just tell me.
So
Casey Haley.
I don't want to talk about Casey.
Eddie Kane Jr. Tell me they're not the same person.
So you think we should have known?
We should have known.
There was no way.
We should have known. Robert Townsend put it in the movie.
We didn't know. I don't want to talk about that movie either. See, this is what Jamal does. He just like bring stuff out. Like, what year did the 5 Heartbeats come out? And he has watched it every year since that year.
Yeah, they're right.
You don't need to look it up. He's watched it every year.
It's one of the greatest. It's one of the greatest. Listen, when Robert Townsend was putting that thing together, it was like an opus. It was like Mr. Townsend's opus.
It was good, but you killed it. I mean, like, you watch that movie like 2 or 3 times a year.
It was great.
Now,
I watched The Wiz 2 or 3 times a year.
You do.
Because it's a great musical. I sing all the songs.
I don't watch movies like that over
And I feel like that's a flaw of yours.
Except for that one.
No.
Do you know what it is?
No.
Really? What's the best movie ever?
Love and Basketball.
Love and Basketball. I'm so glad you said it.
It's so disgusting.
Love and Basketball.
It's not that good, dude.
It is so good, and it gives you all the feelings. I think we should go home and watch it.
I'm absolutely not gonna watch that.
I feel the tingles in my stomach and my heart right now. That movie
it's not that
gives
good.
you butterflies.
It's not that good.
And then it makes you think of the Lakers, like old school Lakers.
It's not that.
It's so
it's not that good of a movie.
So good.
It's just not.
Man,
it's not that good of a movie, but it's just.
I'm so happy just thinking about it right now.
but I'm the one. I'm the one that brings it out.
And you're talking about MC Hammer.
Because MC Hammer's a GOAT. He's a GOAT, and people won't give him his shine.
Interesting.
Okay. So we talk about a lot of stuff here, right? We talk about a lot of topics. We run the spectrum of sports, run the spectrum of life. But we do talk about relationship type stuff as well, right? So I wanted to go over with you what Beyonce's Lemonade meant for me.
How many hours do we have? Oh, you said meant to you.
Me.
Okay, my bad.
Me.
Okay, Beyonce's Lemonade.
Okay, so first and foremost, I need to kind of set up the scene so it makes sense for people. Okay, so Lemonade dropped either
2015.
it had to have been the same month that everything hit his head in our relationship. Had to have.
No, it wasn't that close. It just felt like it.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. But same year.
It was definitely the same year. Okay. So, for those who are just jumping in on episode 3 and didn't catch episode 1, I do have a sex addiction. It led to a lot of tomfoolery and stuff in my relationship with my wife, who has since forgiven me and is still going through the forgiving process. I feel. Would that be correct?
That's fair.
Okay.
I won't say forgiveness process. I'll say healing.
Healing. Okay. Still going through the healing process. So when Beyonce drops this thing, I remember HBO having they kept popping up Beyonce's visual whatever, right? And mind you, at that time, I was not a Beyonce fan. And I felt like I was extremely clear about that. Like, her music didn't resonate with me in any way. Right. I thought she had some bops, right? But there's a difference between having a bop and me being a fan of your music, right? Okay. So it just didn't do anything for me. I didn't feel like her music at the time was it didn't reflect anything that I was going through. Okay. So the Lemonade comes on, and we actually recorded it because we couldn't see it live.
Because it came out at midnight.
Was it midnight?
Yes, it was.
No, not the album.
The video.
The video. No. Because HBO did this huge premiere, but I want to say it came on in the afternoon. It was the evening.
Okay. Well,
So yeah, it was. You were asleep. That's what happened. You were asleep, but it was the evening. Anyway, so it came on. It recorded, and I was like, "Let me watch this joint while you were asleep." Mm-hmm. Okay. So I hit play. Thing comes on, and it starts. Most people have seen Lemonade. Most of our audience, at least, I feel like, has seen Lemonade at this point, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was visually stunning, right? But then as the music started going through, because we hadn't heard any of the music from Lemonade at this point. As the songs are going through, it's just melting me. And I had at that point had already decided that I was going to be a different person. Like I was going to be a different man. I was, going to change my life around. And so I'm in the beginning of this process. And I'm watching this thing that is talking to my situation and is talking to me from a woman's perspective. You know what it was? It was making clear your feelings, right? And it was weird because, like, we had a conversation about everything, but I felt like the conversations were really tense. And so, like, when you feel that tension in conversations, a lot of times you can only hear certain things, right? Like, you're not, because you're so scared of the tension, right? Like, right, all that. And so with this, I didn't have any of that because Beyonce don't know me, right? She don't know me. So she's speaking about all of this, and man, I'm just like, yo, is that what I did to my wife? Like, is that how she feels? And it was heavy for me. And as every song kept going, I was just melting. Like, it was literally breaking me up. And then, what is that song? What's that song that she does where she plays the piano?
Sandcastles?
Sandcastles, y'all. So Sandcastles comes on, and that part of the video comes on. And I would say, literally, for the first time since everything happened, I saw hope. And it was weird because I felt like, you know how God brings things across your path, like into your life at a particular time that you're not expecting, and those things is just like a self-drag of your situation. Kind of like, this is you, and now you're seeing it from a different perspective. So now that you see it and you don't like it, right, now you can move forward and self-correct. And so that's what was happening for me, was I'm getting drugged. I mean, the whole Lemonade thing is just dragging me right through the freaking mud, right? As I deserved at that particular point. I deserved it, right? And I'm sitting up there just thinking, like I said, I'm thinking to myself, man, I can't believe I did this to this woman, and I can't believe that, like, all of this is being played out right in front of my face through Beyonce and Jay-Z's situation, right? And then Sandcastle comes on, and I haven't told you any of this. We've never had this conversation before, right? So Sandcastle comes on, and I straight up cried. And, I'm big enough to admit that it's not a big deal, because, we should cry more often, to be honest with you. But I'm talking about men. But Sandcastle comes on, and I see hope. I see hope in my situation. I see hope in just what we were going through. And I knew it was early, but at least I saw hope. And I hadn't seen it up until that point. And so, the rest of the thing goes on. And then, like, I'm just sitting there. I'm like freaking stunned. And you literally wake up. You wake up off the couch at the end when the credits are rolling. Right. And you were like, oh, did I miss it? And I'm like, yeah. And you were like, how was it? And I was like, yeah, that's all I said was, you got to see it. And I knew that I didn't want to be in the room when you was watching it. That's all I knew, right? Like, I was like, I'm taking my ass somewhere else, because if this was heavy for me, what the hell is this going to be for you? Right? So I'll pass the baton.
I remember that. I remember watching it by myself, thinking, "Oh my God, this is my life." And you came back and you said, "So what do you think?" You remember my answer?
I don't, but I know I felt a chill.
I said, "I'm processing."
Yeah.
And then I left for hours.
Yeah.
And I still processed. I don't think we talked about it for a minute, but we never had this conversation.
No, we haven't.
Lemonade is like my life's story. It's just in music form. So I don't have enough time because I have to break that down song by song. But I get it all. I get it from the anger, the offense, the I hate you, how could you, to the two middle fingers up. Like the apathy, like, and the words on the video were like, Jesus, like these are exactly how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
To the sandcastles, to the freedom, and I think that even was like so huge. Like freedom was my ringtone for a long time because I got it. Like I think that I was so entangled in my role as wife and being a wife and having my dreams broken, and then I found me, and there was so much strength and power in that. And once I got to that part, then we were able to rebuild because I wasn't rebuilding for you, and that just it just changed everything. And then you went to the Lemonade concert with me.
And then I went to the Lemonade concert with you. Because, okay, so.
And how was that?
It was dope. Still not hammered, but it was dope though. But, like, so. let's fast forward. No. Let's process kind of how we get there though. So, the Lemonade thing happens, right? And it kind of helps me get to a certain place, right? Understanding, right? Which I needed. I needed understanding, right? So I get the understanding, and then as I'm going to, because I went to counseling like two different counselors. One was a spiritual counselor who had been through something similar and had came out of it. And then just regular, like you call your EAP program or whatever at your job, and they'll give you a counselor dude, right? And so I did all that, and then there was work that I had to do on the side just for myself, right? And as I'm breaking down the barriers that I had up, and I'm starting to open up myself to new possibilities, new things, new philosophies, and things of that nature. And breaking down my toxic masculinity at the same time. Like, I'm doing all of this at the same time, right? So I started looking at why it was that I had such a problem with Beyonce in the first place.
Okay.
Right? So part of it was a masculinity thing.
Really?
Yeah. So, like, remember last episode we were talking about propping people up, propping women up and stuff like that, right? Well, none of y'all have a problem propping Beyonce up, like the majority of y'all, right?
There's a couple haters.
Right, there's a couple, but none of y'all really have an issue propping Beyonce up because she's Queen Bee, right? So you guys go and you guys give her all this praise and all this other type of stuff, and like it just was like she ain't for us.
Okay.
Right? And so it was more like I'm hating on y'all happiness type of thing. And I can look back on that now and say that, right? So, it's just more like hating on your happiness, like whatever. But like in reality, when you go back and listen to Beyonce's songs or her music or whatever, there's a lot in there that she talks about. I just wasn't willing to listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't willing to, like, give her a chance because I was like, ain't gonna be no Queen Bee over here. You know what I mean? Like, internally, right? And so now I can listen to her music with the freedom of letting go of that toxic masculinity and just being like, yo, this is a dope artist who's saying dope stuff, and she's speaking to women a lot, and I will probably benefit from listening to how women feel and how they react and how they accept things and how they process things and blah blah. It just make me a better husband because now I can go forth and take those things that women don't like and make sure that I don't do them with you.
You hear them without the offense.
Exactly.
I feel like there's build up coming.
What do you mean?
Don't look so confused.
Okay.
I'll still be surprised.
What do you mean?
Are you about to give me some on the run to concert tickets? Is that like about to be a surprise for me?
It's gonna be a surprise to me too.
No, nothing.
Hell no, I ain't got it.
You was picking up your phone like you had some tickets for the next closest
absolutely
concert?
not. No, absolutely not.
I thought this was like a build up to be like, this is what Beyonce did for my marriage, and now it's her and Jay rolling hard, and it's Jamal and Shawna rolling hard, and I appreciate her music and her journey, and
we could watch the concert. We could watch the free concert that she did at Coachella, which was dope.
That was really good.
That was dope.
No, there's no. This is not. You just wanted to
have
the podcast conversation.
Just wanted to have the podcast conversation. I feel like I was giving.
It was good.
I just wanted to.
It was good
to open up to the people.
This is not full disappointment.
Oh, here you go. Here you go with the foe again.
Oh, I thought I was ready. I was gonna jump up and down for you. No.
Well, that's our podcast this week, people. We will have so much to talk to you guys about next week.
Oh my gosh.
Because of the conference that we're doing. We're the keynote speakers.
Yes.
At a Reignite conference in San Diego. And so
what are we talking about?
We're talking about intimacy. Intimacy. And sex. Because I like both.
And we're talking about it at church. This is going to be great.
And we got to get our website going.
Yeah.
Because if people want to book us for this type of stuff, then they need to know how to get us. But currently, you can email us.
Yes, you can. You can inbox us on Facebook and Instagram. You can email us at cookiebars@gmail.com. And that is cookibars, COOKIBARS @gmail.com. Ski bars, isn't that cute? Cookiebars@gmail.com.
Until next time, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
No, Beyonce tickets for me for real? No. Thought you might have hit the lottery and you was like, I got an announcement for you.
All right, let me just move this over, then we can bounce. I need to eat.
I need to drink.
And that too.